Welcome back, everybody. Once again, I'm bringing you a video about tyrants trying to take your natural rights away from you. This time it is in Washington State. So for folks that haven't heard, on the 5th, a bill which will limit magazine capacity passed the House and Senate of the state of Washington, and with their governor being a communist, that would be Jay Inslee, he will surely sign this because he wants to restrict the rights of the people and ensure that the police state is stronger than them. So this will in part help with that, and that is their goal. So what is the law? What's going on? Well, we got a few parts of it that I picked out that are pertinent to discuss. And then at the end, we're going to tell you what I recommend you do if you live there or you plan on living there. So the law says, large capacity magazine means an ammunition feeding device with a capacity to accept more than 10 rounds of ammunition, or any conversion, kit, part, or combination of parts from which such a device can be assembled if those parts are in possession of or under the control of the same person, but shall not be constructed to include any of the following. What are the exceptions? Well, let's find out. An ammunition feeding device that has been permanently altered so that it cannot accommodate more than 10 rounds, a .22 caliber tube ammunition feeding device, or a tubular magazine that's contained in a lever action firearm. So with that A right there, bullet button, what they're saying is that you can block off your mags. So I know a lot of folks do that if they're either visiting or just temporarily in a state, if they're in the military, for example, and then you can unblock them. This says permanently altered. Every state has kind of a different interpretation of what that means. Regardless, it's stupid. And additionally, another part of the law that we need to talk about is that it says no person in this state may manufacture, import, distribute, sell, or offer for sale any large capacity magazine except as authorized in this section. So an important thing there's a couple of them in that little clause. Number one, it's what is not there, right? So possession, owning, whatever the case may be, those are not in there, and that is significant. So if you're in Washington, and this law goes into effect on July 1st, I should state. So if you're in Washington State and you want to go out and purchase magazines right now of greater than 10 round capacity, standard capacity, you certainly can do so. And I do recommend it. If you guys follow me on various social media platforms, you'll see I have a lot of links to deals where folks will send them to you fairly inexpensively. And as someone who lived before and during, not after I moved, but before and during the Massachusetts gun ban, I will tell you that I would recommend buying a ton of magazines. Now, they're also saying, of course, that you cannot sell them. Cool story. So anyway, I would recommend buying a ton of them because they will only increase in value. I can pretty much guarantee you of that. But one key part here, in addition to not saying possess, meaning that you can possess them after this goes into effect, is the distribute part. So what does that mean? Well, words have meanings, so distribute can mean a lot of things. What if, let's say, I go to the range, I'm a Washington resident, and I have my legally owned 17 round Glock magazine, and somebody in the next bay or whatever is like, man, I only have one mag, can I borrow your mag so that way I can just use it for this range session? Sure. Well, you just distribute a mag, and at that point you are in violation of this law. So that alone is a very sketchy part of the law for sure. And then distribute, there you go. Distribute means to give out, provide, make available, or deliver a firearm or large capacity magazine to any person in this state with or without consideration. That's important. Whether the distributor is in state or out of state. Distribute includes but is not limited to filling orders placed in this state, online or otherwise. Distribute also includes causing a firearm or large capacity magazine to be delivered in this state. So, like I just said, it can mean a lot of things, as you see right there, and it does mean a lot of things with or without consideration. One thing that they did say in there as well is that if you are like Rainier Arms or Aero Precision or whatever the case may be, those folks are located in Washington. They can still sell standard capacity magazines to folks out of state, but not in state. And with that, I think we've hit all of the important parts of the law. One that I've seen being debated and actually read it in the law, and I'm not sure what it means because it's written in a very strange way, is whether or not police and military will be able to purchase them. going forward. When this has happened in the past, like say in New York historically, when they limited law enforcement to it, of course, they just immediately will issue some sort of executive order and override that. So that way, like the governor's police force, protective force, can have, you know, as many rounds as they want because their lives are more important than yours. So I sort of already dipped into it. That is the law, goes into effect on July 1st. Again, if you live in that state, I highly, highly recommend buying a bunch of magazines for several reasons. Number one, because they will go up in value even though they say you can't sell them, which is laughable on its face. And additionally, I buy common ones, so like AR mags, AK mags, Glock mags, things like that. Things are just really, really common. P320, since it is the official sidearm of the U.S. military, it's not going away anytime soon. Those are the mags I would definitely stock up on. And additionally, write your legislators. I realize that you live in a state that has been largely Californicated, but let them know this is unacceptable, and unless they introduce a bill to reverse it, you're going to vote them out next time. You have to get active, or else these sorts of things happen. It kind of just is what it is. It's unfortunate, and hopefully there will be somebody like Magpul. I'm not like calling them out or anything, but like what they did in Colorado, where they just sent a bunch of mags there to make them common use, which is the other reason I recommend you buy a bunch of them, because many, many gun-related court cases have come down to common use. And if something is common use, it is more likely that the court will rule in favor of that common use. So again, if there's hypothetically 10 million 30-round PMags in Washington State when they go to file their lawsuit against it, that makes it very difficult for a judge to say, oh, those are for extremists only and nobody really uses them. No, they're common use. So that is the other reason I recommend purchasing a bunch of them. So there is that. Unfortunately, again, bad news for you guys, but it is what it is. I have to tell you, and I have to tell my audience, so that way you guys are ready for what's coming and can act accordingly. If you guys like this type of video and you're not subscribed, definitely go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because unfortunately, it seems lately we've been doing a lot of these videos where people are trying to take away your rights. So hit the subscribe button if you've already done that and you're not seeing 2 to 4 videos a week here on the channel. You can sign up for my email list here at the website on the screen. That goes out at most once a month. It generally goes out every other month, and it just has all the videos since the last email went out, so that way there's no social media giant censoring your eyes from my videos. And additionally, deals and stuff like that on mags and whatever else you may be interested in. We have a daily deals email, and that will have 6 or 7 of the best deals that I find around the internet. And if it's in the email, it's the cheapest I know of anywhere on the internet at the time that I sent it, so that way it saves you guys some money and saves you some time because you don't have to look for it. So there is that. I think that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. We'll see all of you in the next video.